This week is buckball season, and I must say, it's interesting that they would have their very own, version of basketball in this, episode, and, sort of the interesting, viewpoints on just, how sometimes coaches could be, a motive, sometimes it could be very disheartening to some people, and other times it could be words today, I don't know what to say. Sometimes you don't know how to feel with, you don't know what to do in certain situations, especially when your coach pushes you hard enough when you're trying to do what you like to do for a living. This episode here is no exception. In the episode, as it begins, we see that Applejack is practicing for essentially what I think is the equivalent of basketball, and Rainbow Dash stumbles upon her, and we see that Rainbow Dash winds up actually starting to become more and more interested in the game, and, decides to partake in said game. And as it starts to escalate, we see that Rainbow asks Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy to join in. And as it goes on, we see that they gotta have a unicorn, since Braybird stepped in and asked for, a Pegasus and a unicorn to be on Braybird's team to represent Appaloosa. Which, I didn't know Appaloosa had, Pegasus and unicorns. Times are a-changin', I guess. Anyways, we see that they gotta see if there's a unicorn that might be able to be perfect for the game. However, as Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy adapt to the game, and they get, just enthralled with just their ability just to be so well at that game, they wind up finding themselves so well and capable at playing it that they just wind up scaring the other auditions from ever playing it, and they wind up finding a new player. And as it turns out, it winds up being Snails to join in on the game. And as Snails does his training for the game, it's then that Applejack and Rainbow decide that they want to put them, Pinkie and Fluttershy, to the test by putting them through an obstacle course, which in my opinion is not the best idea that there is, because if they're already good at the game that they are, then it's probably not good right there. Then we see that the training course and the fact that they've been motivating the living daylights out of them has left them basically tired and basically probably scarred them for life, and will probably not let them probably partake in the game anymore. And as they go onto the train, they tell them in front of their faces that they won't take into the game anymore. But as Fluttershy, as they think about it, they realize that they shouldn't have done that, and they go back to playing the game. They go back and they realize that they shouldn't have done that, and they originally train like they did in the first act of the episode, and in the middle of nowhere, which begs the question, did they actually stop the train in the middle of nowhere just to play that game? Or did they stop on the edge of Appaloosa just to do that? And they, of course, wind up playing the game, and they win the competition for Ponyville, and, of course, beat Brayburn at the game. I will say that Buckball season was an alright episode, but again, I'm not the hugest of sports fan, to tell you the truth. I mean, I will watch my sports team if they are at the Super Bowl, but that's just because I rarely follow them, and just because they're at the Super Bowl. But that's just about it. It's just not my thing, you know? I'm not like the hugest fan of sports. I'm not a fan of basketball, I'm not a fan of football, I'm not the fan of anything, really. I rarely follow sports. I mean, I have friends who may like sports. Heck, I even have a friend who is actually a soccer referee. You know who you are. And I think, in my opinion, he may or may not like it. I mean, you might be able to see his tweets up on Twitter on the episode, but in all honesty, I don't think the episode is... I don't think I may need to rethink about the episode, but I think this was an alright episode, but not really one of the strongest ones. Like, I sorta kinda like the Times They Are a Changeling, but I sorta like this one. But again, I'm gonna need to take this into reconsideration. Especially with everything that's going on right now in my work schedule. But with everything going on with society, and especially with my thoughts on the episode, I think overall it's a okay episode. I still need to find my favorite one out of it, because I completely forgot what was my favorite, but I probably will figure it out by the end of the season. So, tell me what you thought of the episode down in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week for an all-new episode. And if you're wondering about the Brony Can vlogs, I do apologize for it. I've been waiting for footage to come in from the con staff, especially for one of the panels. I mean, basically, you know what it is. So, if you're waiting on that, I do apologize for it. And by that point, hope to see you guys next, by the time I get editing on the con vlogs. It won't be weekly, I hopefully guarantee you that, but there are no promises on these, next few convention vlog Brony Can videos. So, hope to see you guys next week for an all-new episode of MLP, and hope to see you guys next Sunday for the Ray Donovan episode. So, see you guys later.